Alrighty, what is up, guys? Aldo here. Wanted to give you an update on the crypto markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Want to talk about as well DXY. That's looking interesting. Want to take a quick look at the NASDAQ, Litecoin, obviously with the halving. We gotta look at that. Cardano, maybe a little bit. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. Subscribe if you're new, because we get into a lot of amazing things. We got a new channel partnership with a great exchange. PHEMEX or PHEMEX, however you pronounce it, tomato. Been using them on and off for years. They're a pretty great exchange, so check them out. Another option that does not require KYC. I believe you probably have to use a VPN if you're in a restricted area with them, so check it out. Link down below. We'll probably get a trading competition or something going on with them as well. FAIRDESK is also excellent down below as well if you guys are interested, so check that out. So starting with this analysis right here, I mean, the first thing we're kind of looking at is, weekly gapped RSIs, bearish div confirmed. On the 2-week, you also got your red dot, that usually brings you down. I mean, historically, look at that one. Look at that one. A lot of these, have kind of played out. I mean, this one, obviously, the move is over. That was a bottom signal right there when it did confirm. And then you got the nice, beautiful bullish divergence on the 2-week that really just brought you up right there, which was really nice. Didn't coincide too well with the money flow coming out, but that kind of pulled us away, pulled us out of the depths of like going to 13K, and probably marked the bottom right here, obviously at 15K, if the 4-year cycle does hold up, which I don't see any reason to believe it wouldn't, or any reason to believe it won't. So if we move on to kind of the 3-day right here, money flow coming out, VWAP coming up, I would say that's more neutral to a bit more bearish. I would lean a little bit more with the money flow, especially with how the weekly and the 2-week look. I would just lean on the bearish side ultimately a little bit more because of that. 2-day VWAP coming up, you may get a little trigger wave or something pretty soon right there. So that's the main kind of bullish case. However, when we get down to the daily here, your EMAs are starting to get gray, looking, not so good in that situation. May get a red dot, VWAP coming down more. So, it would make sense. If we look at, we had the Litecoin halving. We'll talk about Litecoin in a minute. But, I think the whole market in 2019, when after Litecoin whatever it's called, started that decline. So that's what we have to look at there. And then this is coming down on the 20-hour. Money flow looks like it might want to get deeper here. If we go to the 12-hour, Blood Diamond, I mean, they obviously don't always work, but, this came down a bit, then you jumped up, it came down farther. If it's like that, you're coming down to maybe, 28 or something. This could be, if it's kind of like that one, let's say it's like that one, that could be a pretty, significant kind of post-Litecoin halving dump for crypto. If we do something like this, let's see where that would bring us to. Ooh, right around 26K. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't make any argument to know what's going to happen. As Mark Douglas says, you don't need to know what's going to happen to make money. A lot of it is risk management and following, some good strategies over time. If you want to learn more about that, some exclusive TA, all of that, check out the Aldo Empire VIP Discord down below, where me and 2 other pro analysts provide a lot of great TA, great knowledge. We do some calls as well, voice chats occasionally with you guys as well. A lot of people have really loved it, so check it out down below if you guys are interested. So yeah, and maybe potentially a trigger wave on the 2-hour. If we go on linear, right here. Now, if we go on linear right here, you are hitting that spiral line pocket, which these usually do. Price does respect them, so that could be kind of the more short-term bullish case. However, when you really zoom in here, we're kind of having it act as resistance rather than support. So that's something we got to keep in mind here. That's not a true bullish div on the 30-minute either. So you do have the money flow coming up. You may have some more, more relief in the short term, but we'll have to see what happens here. So far, I would lean more in the bearish case with this 12-hour, 11 hours to confirm. We'll see what happens. Maybe we could bounce around a little bit more, but I'm kind of thinking that we could come down to this area maybe by the end of the week, next few days or something. We'll have to see what happens. Let's move on to Ethereum a little bit. So Ethereum, obviously, if we look at ETH Bitcoin, is continuing to just do a slow bleed down kind of against Bitcoin through the pump up, and then drop down. Today was a pump up last night. ETH, has continued to generally bleed against Bitcoin here, which it did, in 2019. And if we look at here, September September of 2019 is where it bottomed out against Bitcoin. So potentially, I mean, I don't know if we're that far out where we're kind of over here, where it would be more elongated before it bottoms out against Bitcoin. I don't know. Also, Ethereum has kind of proven itself more as a blue chip this time, so maybe it holds up better. We'll have to see. I think it's probably at least going to get down to this point, 0.05, but it absolutely could come back down to 0.35 or something like that potentially. And it doesn't have to, for this to happen, ETH doesn't have to go to $600. I'm pretty sure, it could just go to like 1,100 or 1,200 or maybe even 1,300 while Bitcoin goes to, I don't know, 25 or something for that to potentially happen. I don't know the exact math. Maybe you could let me know in the comments if you know more about the math. Like if, where would ETH be if it bleeds for 30% against Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes down to, 22K or something. That's what I'd be curious to kind of find out here. So actually doing some analysis on the ETH here. If you look at, yellow X here in the 16-hour, that could potentially, bring you back down to this big fib level. You got a volume area low right there. If you lose that volume area low, you generally could probably make it back to this spiral line. That area, the 1600s, could be significant. If you lose that area, you may have a technical target down here at your 1200 range. That's where you could end up in a few months. If you look at that 2-day, pretty good curvature, money flow coming down on that 2-day, which would kind of, if we wanted to kind of estimate where we could end up here, September, October for potential bottom. Maybe that's where you could see. Potentially making a higher low here. But yeah, and then, this blood diamond on the 20-hour, I believe we didn't have one. Didn't have one on a daily, but you did confirm one on the 20-hour right there. So I would say overall bearish sign. I mean, these two didn't work out too well. It took some time, and then this one finally was the one that gave you what you needed there to come down. Yellow X's usually aren't the best thing in my opinion. I mean, if you look at these guys, if it's kind of like this one, that's right to kind of that area, that 17 area. So I think that's absolutely possible here. If you zoom out a little bit, I mean, money flow, we are getting a little bit of a jump right here, maybe a trigger wave on the 3-hour. You do have not a true bullish div on the hourly, I don't believe. Trigger wave on the 30. Money flow starting to curve up on the 22. Money flow curving up, trigger wave on the 16. So there's a little bit of hope for short term. Short term, you absolutely could maybe jump back up to 1854. I think short term there is a decent likelihood for some relief here. I do have a swing short in on Ethereum. If you want more info on that, like I mentioned, Aldo Empire VIP Discord. So check that out. Been doing pretty well with some of the Bitcoin trades as well. Have one in right now as well. So yeah, what I wanted to show you guys is Bitcoin dominance too. Trigger wave right there, that jumped up a good amount. Look at that. If it's like this, jump up to 55%, probably not by the end of the month. That would be pretty crazy. We'd probably have to really drop down for the entire crypto market. If we, Bitcoin, I would say would probably have to at least drop down to 24, 25K for us to see a 55%, Bitcoin dominance by the end of the month. Could be more elongated, but I think once we get to that area, I think that's where it's time to get into Ethereum, time to start kind of DCing into altcoins. That's what I'm really looking at. Also wanted to show you the DXY, which is pretty interesting. Look at the monthly, what we could be forming potentially here. We got a jump off of 100, which is not bad. And on the monthly, you have the last time you had a trigger wave was February of 1999. And if it's like that, look, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I think the Dixie is in a lot of trouble. I think the Fed's going to, start printing come next year or something. But if it's like that, oh man, you're coming up to that major fib level at around 130. That would be recession fears. That'd be a nightmare kind of for traditional markets, NASDAQ and S&P 500 most likely. I don't know if it would hurt Bitcoin too badly. I think Bitcoin may act more like gold and kind of hold up well in that. But that's what we got to keep in mind. I think they're going to print before that. I think maybe you could make a higher high or something, or a kind of a double top at this area, or get up to the 118, right there. But I think they're going to print. I think they're going to turn on the money printer, probably by March, April next year, potentially start lowering the rates again. So yeah, double blood diamonds on the six hour on the NASDAQ. You're hovering around this big fib level right here. I believe we are kind of losing it almost, so we'll see if we can jump off of that. We probably will get a bit of a jump higher off of that, but if you look at the 20-hour money flow coming out, you look at the daily bear div from back there with with money flow starting to come out there. That's played out pretty well so far. Same thing with the 2-day. 3-day money flow coming out, starting to curve back down. And then you confirmed a red dot right there. So we'll have to see what happens. If we make a lower high here, that's where it could start to get more bearish. If the Dixie comes up a bit, that's where you could see traditional markets come down. I mean, this has ripped up so much. So be on the lookout for kind of a pullback here. Litecoin, monthly Heikin-Ashi candle is now red right here. You may get a trigger wave even closer to the zero line than this one was back here in 2019. So, it's kind of has repeated history a little bit more slower here. Maybe we have a more gradual, slower decline here. Who knows? But I think it is likely that Litecoin repeats history after the halving and bleeds a good amount. 3-day blood diamond. I mean, this looks pretty textbook, basic market cipher strategy right here to kind of come down with Litecoin a good amount. And yeah, I think there's a decent probability that very high probability in my opinion that we kind of come down with Litecoin played out. Maybe this one was kind of the trap right here, this blood diamond. You came down, but then you made a higher high. Now we're finally ready to kind of come down with that. Cardano, I felt like looking at, it confirmed a blood diamond on the daily. Some of the altcoins, man, could really, continue to kind of get hit hard here. I wanted to look at it actually on Binance, more data. But, if you do roll over, you got the trigger wave 2 on the 3-day. If you do roll over here, looking at this point, and then if we do decline, come down in the next few months, September, October, Bitcoin goes back to low 20s or something, would not surprise me if you see a 17-cent or a 15-cent Cardano. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be the place. A few months, I think we just got to wait a few months, and that's the time to start really getting into getting back into altcoins. If you look at total 3, which is the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and ETH, daily confirmed a blood diamond right there. I just wanted to look at the 3-day and the 2-day here. Not looking too good. Looks like it wants to come deeper into the red. Potentially come back down to kind of that area, and then if you do lose that area, I mean, it is possible to come down a bit farther. Look, I don't know if you're going down to 200, but maybe 250 is a possibility. Maybe jump off of 240, 250 over here, make some lower lows of some of the altcoins, and clean out the market. Some of these altcoins will go to zero. That's a sad part of life, but that's kind of what happens. So that may kind of clean out the market, come down, and then towards the end of the year, early next year, pre-halving is really the sweet spot to most likely get into altcoins and potentially make 20x's or 30x's on some things, big potential gains. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's all I got right now. Check out PHEMEX and FAIRDESK down below if you're an experienced trader. Also check out the Aldo Empire Discord down below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.